I thought we were over this cold shit.
Fucking freezing in this car.
It got a little colder since we were in the movie. but I've been here longer than you have.
A little bit.
Well, we were gonna see this at 7:00. We had car. What was wrong with your car?
Something's fucked up with the AC. It
Yeah.
wasn't kicking off, so it was just staying engaged even when you had it off. And it was like burning up one of the belts, so it sounded like a fucking banshee.
Like a monster.
Like a monster.
So I had, because it was really crowded, so I sent Brian a text going like, hey, when you get here, just shoot me a text and I'll come meet you in the lobby. So I went in there, got a seat. I had the phone sitting on my knees so I would feel it vibrate when it went off. And the trailers had ended and the movie was just about to start. And then it went off mentioning the car trouble. So I just went out and like exchanged the tickets for the 10 p.m. show. So at that point, I could at least vouch for like the first 2 seconds of the opening credits and a couple of the trailers. But it probably, I mentioned this to you on the way in because there were a couple of fans of the site in there at the 7:00 show. And I was sitting where we usually sit, which is kind of up by the front, like, railing. And it probably looked like as soon as the movie started, I'm just done. Then I just got up, left, and didn't come back. I left my concessions in there. It didn't cost me anything. I had rewards on my card, so the concessions didn't cost me anything. And I wasn't going to eat like a large popcorn while waiting for the movie to start in like 3 more hours. So it was kind of like the Pacific Rim situation, except if both movies for you was Pacific Rim and one of them wasn't Grown Ups 2.
Yeah, you still kind of came out ahead on that.
If the movie was, if this was something that like none of us were looking forward to, it was like, let's say it was Mom's Night Out or Blended, I wouldn't have been like, okay, well, I'll just exchange the tickets. We can go see it at 10 o'clock. I just would have stayed there by myself. Well, like, Brian's the Godzilla expert, so it'd be really weird if I was reviewing this by myself.
Like, man, it looked good compared to like the 3 of you.
Yeah, it's way better than Godzilla's Revenge, which is the last one that I saw. I've been watching a lot of Godzilla this week, other than Godzilla's Revenge, whichever ones are on Netflix. I do love me some Godzilla, but I can imagine you could probably not only name the monsters, but all of their backstory.
Some of them. Well, because it's different depending on which era you're watching, because it completely resets at times.
Yeah.
Because they've always done like odd things where like all the ones through like the 60s and 70s more or less kind of go together, stemming off of like the original. But then like they usually hit like a little spot where there's like a 10-year gap.
Yeah, it wasn't 85 kind of a reset.
And then 85 is technically a direct sequel to the original, and it completely ignores all the other ones happening.
Yeah.
And it just kind of...
Its working title was Godzilla H2O. It's a really stupid joke.
That's why it made sense why LL Cool J was in that one.
In hindsight, it's way better than Godzilla Resurrection. A little bit.
It's my favorite when he fights Buster Rhymes.
It's a really short fight. It's the best part of the movie.
But yeah, so like every the time they do that, it kind of resets. I mean, like the Millennium Era ones, each one of those kind of seems like it's its own like standalone thing. It's like with like the 80s into the 90s, it kind of like it's the original, and then 85, and then it kind of goes forward from there until Godzilla versus Destroya. And then once it jumps to like Godzilla, I think the first one of that was like Godzilla 2000.
Yeah. I remember when I went to go see that when that came out.
And like about like each one of those kind of does that, like the original and then Godzilla 2000, the original then like Tokyo SOS.
What's Final Wars fall into?
It's kind of the same. Like it's kind of like it's kind of a just sequel to the original. Like,
it is in continuity with Emmerich's.
Yeah, it apparently ignores all of them but Roland Emmerich's because Zilla shows up for like 30 fucking seconds.
That threw me off when I first saw Godzilla Final Wars, because I was working at the video store when I saw that, and we had all the Godzilla movies there. We played them constantly on the mini TVs that were there. One of them was Godzilla Final Wars, and I hadn't seen it at the time, so I put it up there. And at one point, I looked back at the screen because the TV was behind me, and it was Zilla. It was Zilla tearing apart the city, and I kind of looked and went, they made him look like he did in Emmerich's? That's a bold choice.
It's very progressive of you, Japan. Finally, that sequel to that one we've all been wanting. No, he's dead.
Oh, we got the cartoon series out of it. I don't even hate that movie, honestly. If you take the name Godzilla off of it, it's a fine Zilla movie.
Yeah, but you can't really sell Zilla.
Honestly, I think if they did that, people probably wouldn't have hated it as much as they did. I'm not saying they would have liked it, but...
Well, and I'm still of the opinion that movie is essentially just like a standard film style version of like Cloverfield. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Like, those two movies are the same fucking movie if you really stop.
Yeah. It has the wacky characters, monster attacking the city. As a movie about a monster attacking the city, I mean, no, it's not Godzilla. As a Godzilla movie, it's bad because the monster's not Godzilla at all. As a movie about a monster fucking shit up, whatever, I thought it was entertaining.
Yeah, it's passable as just like a big monster movie.
I don't even think it's that bad looking of a monster, to be honest. I mean, just as long as he's not called Godzilla. That'd be like if you called Shockma King Kong. Like, Shockma's great as Shockma, just don't call it King Kong.
But yeah, well, for me though, like the Roland Emmerich one, it had too much goofy bullshit for no reason. Like with the weird like hijinks going on and like.
But compared to you know what that Godzilla says? Pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
Hey, he's dispensing good old-fashioned 1950 sensibilities.
Didn't have Minya in it. I'll gladly take baby Zilla's slipping on gumballs over. I got halfway through Godzilla's Revenge. That was one I hadn't seen before. I got halfway through. He recommended me watch that too because I asked him, I was like, what would be a good Godzilla movie to watch for the site? And you threw out Godzilla's Revenge, so I picked that one. I got halfway through that, and when fucking Minya starts
like
talking...
20 minutes in.
Yeah, like 20 minutes in. So halfway through, yeah, 20 fucking minutes in. I get halfway through that fucking movie, and there's Minya, or Manila, depending on what version you're watching. It's like, oh, hey there, over here, yuck. When that happened, I'm like, anyone who says the 98 one is the worst is fucking high.
Anyone who says the 98 one's the worst has only seen that one.
That one and, like, King of Monsters. I love how we reviewed that more so than this one. That's our thoughts on Roland Emmerich's Godzilla.
Well, that pretty much sums up the new one, too. Night.
It's a shot-for-shot remake. But people are going to be pissed. Actually, I thought this movie was really fun.
Yeah, it's a really good... it's a really good kind of way to step back into the whole Godzilla thing, because it's the sort of thing like
the light means that we started talking about this movie 10 minutes into it.
It's a slow build, just like a good Godzilla movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the thing is like I've been seeing a lot of stuff on the internet here this past week with a lot of people complaining that it's either like everybody is like completely divided on this, that it's either too much human story, not enough Godzilla, or too much Godzilla, really wish you'd finished up more of the human story.
Really?
Yeah, I've seen that on there, which fucking baffles me. It's like, if you just want the human part, just watch a movie that's not Godzilla.
Yeah.
Like, if that's your problem.
This movie is, it's a Godzilla movie. It totally is, but it is certainly an American Godzilla movie. It is through and through an American disaster film. It has everything you would expect from that, but with Godzilla. Yeah. It has, the family is split up and they're searching through each other through the movie. It has the scene where he's looking at a picture of his wife and kid. It has a climax that involves a ticking time bomb. It has the military arguing with the science guy. It has all of that. But also Godzilla, so that makes it cool. Like, it has Godzilla beating the shit out of what kind of looks like the Cloverfield monster. So it does feel in a lot of ways like it's Godzilla versus Cloverfield, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, it sticks to a lot of like classic tropes, I guess you could say, about Godzilla films. Like, it does have a very slow build to Godzilla. Like, honestly, you see more of the monsters he's fighting than you do of him for a majority of the
and that's
film.
Not uncommon for a Godzilla film.
Oh, no.
At all.
I mean, there are quite a few where Godzilla really doesn't even come in until maybe like almost the last act of the film.
In this, I mean, they saved the big fight for the end, which is cool, which I kind of figured is where it was going. But yeah, in this, he comes into it, I would say, earlier than halfway into it, and when he comes into it and you finally see his face and he screams right at the camera, it's pretty awesome. Like, it was a good money shot. It really was a good money shot. It was a good build up to that. And it's not what you see in the trailer. Honestly, that shot that you see in the trailer where the doors are closing and Godzilla is screaming at it is not in the movie. Yeah,
I noticed a lot of the stuff that they showed in the trailer is completely reworked. Like, it's not at all what the trailer shows.
Yeah, no, I mean, the idea of the doors closing like that and the monsters on the other side of it is there, but it's not Godzilla screaming at it. It's the two of them fighting. The shot of the Statue of Liberty wasn't in it.
Yeah, because they never even make it out of the Pacific, so I don't even know why that was even. I mean, maybe some footage. I mean, if they were, I don't know, maybe had like the flying one, going around like
just
breaking
wrecking
things.
Shit. Yeah,
well, they were in Nevada, and they have that statue in Las Vegas, don't they?
That in the trailer that looked like New York.
True, though.
I could totally be wrong.
But, I mean, that could be what it was there for the trailer. Maybe they just didn't show that. I mean, I know they showed it wrecking like the tiny Eiffel Tower that's in Vegas.
There's some things about the trailer that that I certainly appreciate. One is that what the trailer does certainly make it look like they are fighting Godzilla in this movie. Godzilla has shown up, he's attacking the city, and they have to fight against. That's not the case at all. Godzilla's the hero of this movie.
Yeah, yeah. The trailer definitely sets it up like it's a classic. Godzilla shows up and wrecks stuff, and then maybe these other monsters that you could kind of barely see a snippet of might be there just to like fuck with it, and then he's gonna go back into the ocean like he always does.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very much the opposite. Like, this is kind of going more the route of like the Showa era, like the 70s ones, where he was kind of a very catastrophically clumsy wreck the whole city while he's fighting a monster, but he's still the good guy, so you kind of root for him a little bit type character, where it's they fucking wipe out San Francisco.
Yeah.
That shit is gone.
There's some beautiful shit in this film. The climax is outstanding. Like, when they're parachuting into the city, and it looks like the nuclear holocaust. And with that 2001 Space Odyssey type music, it's the same music it plays in the trailer. That's some really haunting shit, especially when it goes from the point of view of the paratroopers, and it's from the point of view of their masks, and you see the monsters just beating the shit out of each other.
Just stuff coming in and out of like the fog and the debris.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's fantastically shot. Like it's wonderful to watch.
Yeah, it really freaking is. Especially the build up to when he finally does the fire breath is pretty outstanding. Like, his whole spine, like, lights up like an arcade. It's amazing.
Yeah, because they really gave that a new twist with, like, instead of just like his spine's kind of like flickering a little bit before it happens. Like no, it's like he's charging up from like the tip of his tail until it reaches his head. Like and there's just like this growing like electrical like humming noise, like somebody's like starting up like a Tesla coil.
And you know it's
something.
coming too. You know, as soon as you see that bright blue on his tail where it's going. There's a lot of really good money shots in this movie. Hell, even the second time he does the fire breath into the monster's fucking mouth. Christ. Fucking hell.
Yeah, this one is, I would say, like, outside of ones like Godzilla versus Biollante, like, this is one of, like, the most violent Godzilla films I've ever seen.
Well, just look at him in this. He looks like he's seen some shit. This is like Godzilla post-Nam. And also, even like he still needs a breather every now and then. He's part John McClane. He just needs to relax for a couple of minutes. There's parts in the movie where he just kind of lays down a couple times because holy shit. Beating up a couple of monsters really takes the shit out of you.
Just gonna lay here for a minute.
Yeah, just
think things through for a sec.
Don't mind me. Oh my god. The trailer also, which I kind of knew this going in. The trailer really does make it look like Cranston is the lead character. I knew going in because as soon as I saw the poster, which has all these names, and then it says, and Bryan Cranston, I knew it was fucking pulling an executive decision on us. Like, all of his scenes, I was in my head going like, okay, that's from the trailer, that's from the trailer, and when I ran out of scenes that weren't from the trailer, or when I ran out of scenes that were in the trailer, I was like, he's gonna get it here in a couple of minutes. I honestly, I wish he was around for the whole movie. I mean, he was totally Walter White amped up to fucking 11 in this.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he brought his fucking A game. It was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm in half hour of this movie. I'm going to make it a fucking great half hour.
I am going to win another fucking Emmy for this. And that's not even possible. It's a movie. It's a theatrical film, but I am going to win a fucking Emmy for this. Oh yeah, he is screaming all over the place, and it's pretty great. It's really great stuff. And I do wish he was in at least a lot more, because really he's only in like the first 15 minutes. Which he outlived Juliette Binoche, who's in it for 30 seconds.
Yeah, that didn't last too long.
I really wish he was in it more, because he really is kind of the only human character in this movie that I really kind of gave a fuck about. Not that the other characters, like, annoyed me, and I don't mean to be the guy who's complaining about characters in a disaster movie, because really no character annoyed me in this by any stretch of the imagination. But when it was around the 20th or 30th time that it was cutting away from the action to show some of the human characters, I really kind of went into not give a fuck mode about some of these people. And I don't mean that as to say, like, God damn it, I want them to die. I don't mean that. I just mean they really are top characters. Cranston is really the only one who wasn't.
Yeah, he's got a lot of layers to him. I mean, to a certain extent, like he doesn't get a name, Kick-Ass. I mean, it makes sense in a way for him to be. I mean, he's like a career military guy, so it kind of makes sense that he's like basically compartmentalizing everything that's happening so that he can keep moving forward. So it kind of makes sense in a way that he's kind of like insane shit happens, and then 2 scenes later, he's just like, all right, where do I jump out of a fucking plane from?
Yeah,
you gotta compartmentalize like that. You gotta like, I'm gonna push this shit down. I'm gonna swallow the fact that I just watched my dad die, and now I'm gonna go shoot guns at a fucking monster that's taller than most buildings because that's what I have to do right now. And then I'll go home and I'll cry for months.
Yeah, it made sense why that character was there. Certainly, it absolutely did. And to be perfectly honest, like even if Cranston had lived, I don't know what he would have done in this movie.
Just been there with
Elizabeth Olsen, or Ken Watanabe. Yeah, he would have obviously been there with him. He was good. Ken Watanabe was good.
Talking stuff, but yeah, it's the sort of thing like with him there, you really didn't need Cranston. Like Cranston was necessary to sort of get the story going and set up our characters, but after that, he would have just been like sidekick, or would have felt like there are way too many science guys on this.
I mean, you're absolutely right on that. You totally 100% are. I'm speaking largely.
But it just would have been nice to have him. Right?
Yeah, I'm speaking largely from that point of view. He was really the only character in the movie that, and honestly, it's probably largely because it's him playing the part.
Yeah,
and the way that he played the part. I'm speaking way more towards the fact that like he was just simply kind of the only one that I really gave a shit about. Everyone else does fine. The acting in it is totally fine. There are certainly characters that I've seen in 1,000 other movies.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'll take that any day over a character that will annoy the shit out of me. And there's really nothing like that in there. Yeah. It was nice. Although there is a little kid in there with a cap on.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of a setup, like all those all those kids they had in those ones. Like oh, there's a tribute to that. But
like any disaster movie too, as long as you are holding a kid, you're fine.
Yeah, you're fucking invincible.
Oh yeah, when they go to fight Godzilla, they should have just had kids strapped to them. Instead of armor. They would have been totally fine. You will survive the subway thing with Aaron Johnson and the kid and that one dad with the daughter with the typhoon after him. Like, oh, he's fine. He just runs into like a Starbucks or whatever it was.
Apparently, yeah, you close those doors, watertight seal.
But the action in the movie is spectacular, and Godzilla is Godzilla is, speaking of all characters, not just the human ones, easily the most likable character in the movie. It's got some great shots in there where all of those like aircraft carriers are just following along with him, and he doesn't give a shit.
He can care fucking less. And I like that, but a lot of like the body language that they gave him and
special effects were great.
And yeah, I mean, it really like you could honestly get like a good feel for him as a character.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like it wasn't just that he was an obstacle in the movie and things were happening. It's like no, I mean he definitely feels like he carries a certain weight and a certain presence in the film. You know, more so than like some of the old ones where again it's just like oh well there's a monster and he's always got that scowl going. And
yeah, you're right. It wasn't just simply like here's this monster, here's another one, they both duke it out at the end. No, you really get the idea that Godzilla is the hero of this film. They do make him a character that you root for. Yeah,
because I mean, and he never is it like he's not like rallying with the troops or anything like that.
No.
But it's definitely like he is out to kill those fucking things no matter what.
Uh-huh.
And then past that, he really doesn't care. Like, he's not just gonna, like, walk past a building and just bam, just knock the fucker over because why not? It was standing there. Or
That's Superman's job.
yeah. Which I still have to say, after the three monsters in this movie level San Francisco to just cinder and rubble, it still looks better than Metropolis.
Right.
After Superman saves the day. Like, shit, they could, a couple bulldozers, a few months, and some spackle, they're gonna have that city
Dust that
out.
shit off and be fine.
Metropolis is gone. It looks like fucking ground zero.
Well, you know what? A monster the size of a skyscraper, it's just gonna happen that whether he's the hero or not, there is just going to be collateral damage.
Yeah, when he grabs a guy and swings around, it's gonna throw him into a building. I apologize. A bunch of buildings right fucking here. It's gonna happen. Superman was throwing him into buildings.
Superman threw him into a working gas station that blew up.
There's a lot of places you could have thrown him.
Superman, you're a dick. Fuck you, Superman. You're not as cool as Godzilla. You can't get away with this. You're my height, asshole. Grow the size of a building, then I'll give you leeway on collateral damage.
Like,
or just be a better movie.
well, there's that too.
No, it hasn't been a great year for movies. It really, really fucking hasn't. Maybe because I've seen more this year than last year.
When you're working at a lot of the bad ones this year too.
Yeah. I got Single Moms Club and Mom's Night Out and whatever else piece of shit I might have seen that had the word mom in the title.
I was gonna say, you've seen a lot of mom movies.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of mom movies, and now I'm kind of like at where Dave was when Dave went to go see Pacific Rim, where Dave, at that point, had seen his fair share, well, you both had seen
Yeah.
fair share of bad movies, so Dave was sitting there like, oh my god, I fucking needed that. I fucking needed a good movie, and well, I probably shouldn't have brought that up. You were at Grown Ups 2 that night.
Yeah, I
Oh,
was.
sorry. Sorry, I didn't mean to bring that up again.
Asshole.
No, like, well, somebody on, I don't know, it was a comment on one of the recent Midnights where, like, Jesus Christ, Brad, you fucking hate everything that's coming out. What's the last fucking thing you liked? Usually when I see a comment like that, I'm always like, all right, motherfucker, I like this, and this. But then I looked at previous ones, and the guy was kind of right.
It's like, damn, I have hated like the past 5 I've gone to see.
Well, not that I hate it a lot, but like in terms of ones that I recommended like at a full price, because there's been a lot where I've been like, I just rent it.
Yeah.
Ones that I've recommended at like a full price, there hasn't been a lot. That's not me. That just means it's been a shitty year.
Which it has, but I mean we're getting past all that. You know, we're just about to turn the corner. It'll be June.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna start getting like that summer stretch going here. Like, I really think this one, it's like, as far as I'm concerned, like between like Spider-Man a couple weeks ago and this, I mean, that's kind of like the kickoff to like getting into like the summer stuff.
Yeah, the first weekend of May typically is. I know next week we got X-Men and Blended. I'll be at both. Fucking Blended, man. But, fucking Blended, man. But I would recommend this at a full price.
Oh yeah, I would highly recommend this one, especially as, I mean, it's one of those movies that the size and the spectacle of it, I mean, it's the sort of one like seeing it like just at home, even if like I don't give a shit how big your fucking TV is. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not gonna match that same like you know, this the scope of it
Uh-huh.
on a theater screen, or this like the sound system in there, like when you hear him roaring, like
Oh,
it,
Jesus.
it like rattles your
Yeah.
chest a little bit.
Uh-huh.
Like, it's like,
Well, I
fuck,
need surgery now.
I think I skipped one on that last part. Thanks, Godzilla. Now I have arrhythmia.
Yeah. It's the movie doing that to your heart, not the popcorn. Not the popcorn that I was eating. Fuck.
But yeah, it's definitely one like you want to get that experience on it, because like there are plenty of movies like it's like even ones that I didn't like, I've seen them like, you know, since theater, and I'm like, oh fuck, that was much better on the big screen. Like it's like when I saw the first Transformers, like wow, that was, I mean, I didn't know how terrible they were going to end up going, but I'm like, okay, that was a fun one. I'm glad I saw it on the big screen, and I watched it when there was still that theater over in the mall.
Yeah.
Like I watched it maybe because there was like a second run theater they had over there, and so I watched it there, like couple days before it actually came out on DVD, and thought it was pretty decent, and watched it a little while after that, like at home. And I'm like, this is okay still, but everything feels so much fucking smaller. Like the scale and the scope and everything is like it's whatever. It's like shit. Still one of like the best moments I've ever had in a theater was when I went with my mom to watch Stargate.
Oh, yeah.
It's like that moment, like when they finally like for the first time like open up the thing, and there's like the big,
Yeah.
like, you know, like explosion of like watery stuff. It's like that was an experience. Like, man, I'm really glad I saw that on the in the theater. Like, you know, it was one of those like really big moments. It worked really well. So that's Springfield.
I'm probably going to cut that whole thing out.
That'll be for us.
I couldn't see who it was because of the fucking fog on there.
Sasquatch coming, like,
Yeah,
I looked
I was
over, I'm
like-
like, it's like, well, that's definitely getting bigger.
Yeah. The fuck? What was I saying? Oh, Stargate. I didn't see Stargate in the theater. I saw it when it hit video, and it's the only time I've ever seen it, too. I remember it got, like, halfway through that movie, and my dad said, I don't know, he had to get up to use the restroom or do something, and he goes like, I'm gonna use the restroom. Don't pause it. Nothing's gonna happen.
Which is a fair comment to make. That was a slow movie.
It was, yeah, I remember that part. And Transformers, I saw the first one in the theater and was kind of like, hey, whatever. And then the second one was terrible. Third one was fucking terrible. And then I went back and then, like, in terms of those three movies, a lot of people are like, yeah, the second one and third one suck, but the first one's pretty good. And then I went back and watched the first one again, and I was like, this one pisses me off too. It's just shorter than the other ones.
Yeah, all the same stuff is there.
Yeah.
You didn't know to expect it yet.
Yeah, it's all that stupid shit's there. It just doesn't linger on it for 40 minutes or however fucking long the other ones. Fucking Jazz in the first one's just like, you boy! And it's one scene, as opposed to the entire film of Skids and Mudflap. With this one, though, like, I would, if you certainly go into it and you expect that the whole thing is just going to be Godzilla just, like, wrecking shit, you'll probably be disappointed. In fact, I think I could overhear some of that on the way out.
But again, for me, that's the sort of thing, is like, that's whoever was going in there having an inaccurate idea in their head of how a Godzilla movie should be.
I feel the same way, yeah.
A lot of them, like,
With what you said. Not that I agree with what they said.
no, I agree with them. It's bullshit.
It's bullshit. This should have been nothing but destruction porn for 2 hours.
But yeah, I mean, most of the Godzilla movies, especially like the really good ones, it focuses more on the human plot than it does like the actual monster fighting. Like Letty and I just watched the '90s version of Godzilla versus King Ghidorah, and Godzilla is barely even in the movie. Most of it, to be fair, the human story in that one is wildly retarded. But it works in parts of like the Terminator and
Sweet.
The Day the Earth Stood Still and like all kinds of shit.
Throwing a little Jet Jaguar in there.
God, I wish Jet Jaguar would come back.
I would love
Jet
it.
Jaguar.
I would fucking love it if they somehow fucking worked Jet Jaguar into the next Godzilla movie.
That would be amazing.
Yeah. Ken Watanabe Jet Jaguar in the next film. Oh my god.
Well, dude, shit, if they worked in Jet Jaguar, it would essentially be Pacific Rim.
It would. It totally would.
Then people would be like, man, this is a ripoff of that other one. That just,
Boo!
despite the fact they've been making these since 1954.
Nope, Pacific Rim was the first. What, I did lean over to you at one point when the new monster was on there, because I leaned over to you and was like, is that new or is that like kind of based on one of the older ones, one of the older monsters? And you said it's totally, what did they call it?
Muto?
Muto.
Okay.
Yeah. Massive, unidentified terrestrial organism or something like that. Just stock, like, army acronym name.
Yeah.
But, despite the fact that one of them flies for a majority of the movie, which would make it a massive, unidentified flying object. Whatever. But no, like it, because there's two monsters in it. Really, like it's hard to tell from anything because they're so weird about it. But like they really didn't want you to know there was any other monsters in it. But yeah, there's a smaller flying one and a much larger kind of ground-based one that looks like if, like, the Cloverfield monster had a couple more legs. Like,
yeah,
it looks like a giant, really beefed-out spider.
Yeah, the legs are a similar kind of structure that the Cloverfield monster had. The head's different. But how it kind of moves around is not unlike the Cloverfield monster,
But,
which I thought was kind of good because I like the Cloverfield monster.
But the flying one, like it can move around on the ground perfectly fine, and then it actually, like, when it needs to, it flaps out some wings and takes off. That when it's flying, like, it's really similar to, like, kind of older monsters like Rodan. But the fact that it's able to put its wings away makes it infinitely more versatile, and like I think it makes it work a lot better as like a flying monster to have in these, because that was always the problem with like a lot of the flying ones like Rodan or like King Ghidorah, because it made no fucking sense. King Ghidorah has 3 heads, 2 tails, 2 legs, 2 wings, no fucking arms. And so it's really kind of like I love fucking King Ghidorah, I do. But the no arms thing has always been a sticking point for me because it just has these 2 big, always out, always exposed wings. And like the 90s one we were just watching, like as soon as Godzilla's like, oh wait, no, I can totally shoot a hole in its wing. Bang. Fires off a shot at its wing. Boom. He fucking just flops to the ground and just lays there. I'm like, okay. Take out the wings. Now it's pretty much fucking useless.
Well, they should have brought back Godzilla's flying power from Ghidorah. Is that the one?
Yeah, from the smog monster.
Bring his flying power back.
Just
or
take off.
sweet tail slide.
Was it this new design? Like, I don't think he could pull off that tail slide. But
It would have been interesting to see him try.
I really have to say though, I was impressed with the new design.
So was
because
I.
it's a fresh take on it, but it's still instantly identifiable as Godzilla.
Yeah.
But it actually takes into account the fact that he's very much amphibious.
Mm-hmm.
Like the design he has is it's a lot stockier, it's a lot thicker design. Like I've been hearing that there's some rumblings online about how fat he is.
He's big. I wouldn't say he's fat.
Like it's a lot stockier build, but I mean, let's look at any of the Godzilla movies. It's not exactly like he's in fucking shape.
Yeah, this one
He's got really fat rolled like legs. Like he has legs of like a 400-pound guy who's never walked.
Yeah, I didn't get the idea that he was fat. He's just certainly he takes up a bit more space, and I'm not saying that as in he's fat. I just mean he's just simply just yeah, to me, honestly, it made him look slightly more muscular in this than it did he was fat.
He's not fat. He's just big boned.
He's just big boned.
He's giant boned. But he's got a shape, especially when like you actually see him going in and out of the water. Very similar to like a crocodile or an alligator, something like that.
Yeah, he's swimming exactly like that.
Which I'm glad that they showed like how he swims, because I've only seen like maybe one or two where it actually shows him like swimming in the water as opposed to just walking on the bottom of the ocean. So it was kind of nice, like them actually showing like, oh no, in the water he would actually be pretty agile. Like he's faster than like our naval fleet when he's in the water.
Oh yeah,
He ditches them at a point. He's like, later guys.
Yeah, he's like, sir, we can't get our speeds up that fast. I love how the monsters sneak up on them too. Like there's moments where like I don't know, there's still people like in Nevada in the casinos just playing the slots, and then they look out the window, huh? The big thing is standing right fucking there. And that happens a few times. I love it when shit like that happens though. The giant monster sneaks up on them.
Well, hell, Godzilla sneaks up on a couple people.
Yeah.
I mean, despite his impressive size in this, he's actually fairly nimble. Like he's kind of quick. Mm-hmm. Which I mean, I guess makes sense. Like that's always one thing that bugged me in some of the old ones, is that all of the fights look like they're taking place in slow motion. Mm-hmm. Just because of how big they are. Like they kind of make that assumption, like, oh, he's a giant thing, he'd move really slow.
Yeah,
which is probably sort of true, but like in context to themselves fighting, like he was going pretty quick.
Which is here because he's got one of them flying at his head. Meanwhile, he's got another one hunched on his back. Yeah, it makes sense why they'd make him a lot fucking quicker in this.
Because yeah, if it was like the old ones where it like takes him like 15 steps to turn around.
Yeah.
Like no, he's pretty graceful all told. Like when he's trying to not hit things, he doesn't hit a single thing like that. I know there's a shot of it in the trailer where they're in like Chinatown.
Yeah.
And like he's like you just see like his tail like flip past the screen, and like there's just like all this smoke and everything, and then he just kind of like just lunges out of the smoke. And yeah, like he was trying to be quiet, like it's deathly quiet right then.
Yeah.
And like you can just hear like the whoosh of his tail go by. And then you just start hearing him like hearing that roar, and it's like, oh shit! Well, how the fuck do you fucking tiptoe over here? Like he is quiet.
I love too when Aaron Johnson, is it? Kick ass.
It's easier.
This is better than also say like, the guy from Savages.
Quicksilver, but not the first one. Not the first one we'll see. The next one.
Kick-Ass 2. When he sets fire to those eggs, or whatever it was, where all the little babies were, when he sets fire to them, and the big giant one looks over at him, and knows he did that shit.
He saw what you did and he wanted. Mama mad, and there's gonna be something coming.
I like them using a nuclear warhead with what looks like a cigar. That was pretty fun. If it was one of the animated series, that's totally what would have happened.
Yeah.
Got any final thoughts on it?
Go see it. I mean, if you're a fan of the old ones, I would highly recommend it. Like I've been watching these movies my whole life. Like watching these like that. That's every family holiday I've ever had. Like they were just always going over at my grandmother's house. That or like playing like fucking like you know, Super Godzilla,
Yeah.
you know, shit like that. So, like, it's just something like Godzilla is something that I've always grown up like it being around. Like I remember like the Super Scary Saturday or Super Spooky Saturday, whatever the old title was, the old Grandpa Al Lewis like horror host thing for kids that they would do like Saturday mornings after all the cartoons were over, like seeing some like the Godzilla movies on that. And, I mean, it's always been something I've watched my whole life. So
Yeah.
you know, getting to see a new one here, getting to see like a really like well made one by, you know, by people who obviously really care about the project. You know, like you can really see a lot of the touches like that Edwards was bringing to it after like Monsters.
Yeah.
Which I think it's very impressive that, you know, because of movies like Godzilla that inspired him to make Monsters, and because of Monsters they gave him the job
They gave
making
him
a new
Godzilla.
Godzilla. Like it's like that's like every filmmaker's like hope is to be like hey, oh, I made this because of like this old thing. Like, you know what? You're the perfect guy to bring that back. Like, fuck right.
One day I'll get to direct a Toxic Avenger movie. If they ever want it to be shot on Shidio, I'm your guy.
Well, that way you'll be able to work in that fucking car flip scene. It's like, was that incredibly dated for 15 seconds?
It's the most expensive shot I've ever done. You know, I do love these movies. I've watched them a lot since I was a kid. I haven't seen all of them like you have, but since it's a good series to put on when you're winding down for the night. It really is. So because of that, I've probably seen the first half hour of all of them.
So all the parts before, like mostly them just like, it's like, oh man, there's aliens from the planet X coming. That's weird.
So because I went, whoa, wait, you mean there's been monsters in these movies? I've only seen the first half hour of all of them. Just thought it was like this whole series about scientists and school children and whatever. And King Kong. But no, yeah, if you grew up on these, if you do love this series, you're really gonna find a lot to love about this movie. It is very entertaining. It's very well done. It's easily one of the better movies I've seen in a while. At least within the past few months.
Well, it's the sort of thing too. Like if you're going into it, like we kind of said earlier, if you're going into it expecting to see just like monsters just beating the shit out of each other for 2 hours, that's not the movie you're going to. Like, if that's your deal, go see Pacific Rim again. That's what you're expecting. But if you want something that's like basically it's in the same vein as the classics. Like it's got that slow build. It's got that that human story of them trying to figure out how can we even possibly do something about this.
And I even like how they worked in like showing news footage of a lot of the destruction that was going on. Even like it would be like the kid is sitting there watching it on TV and the mom's is off kind of doing some other stuff in the background and there's these two monsters fighting on the news.
When she finally notices it, it's like she has this expression of like that is the fucking weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Well, that's weird.
Like
It must be a slow news day.
it's like I like how it's a very human reaction because it's not like sudden shocked horror. It's not like this like immediate acknowledgement of what you're even seeing. It's just that sort of like, I don't even know what the fuck I'm looking at.
Mm-hmm.
Like
what? I know that's Godzilla, but who's that?
Right? We're just kind of like looking at it like, it's like, this has to be a movie, but down there in the corner it says live at 5, so I have to assume this is the news.
Just for shits and giggles, they should have made Harry Shearer the news anchor. Why the fuck not? I would have laughed. And it's come full circle. We'll talk about that movie again.
Well, I just like that, like, while there are several, like, famous landmarks in San Francisco, it's not like this movie went out of its way to work all of them
No,
into
it wasn't like, oh my god, he's destroyed the White House. Or, you know, like, it isn't like, fuck, I think the biggest landmark I can think of it destroying was that shot on the news where it shows where it shows one of the other monsters taking down the Eiffel Tower.
But even that, it wasn't even the real one, it was the one in Vegas.
Oh, yeah, uh-huh. Yeah, exactly.
It's like, oh no, it's trashing the pyramid. Like, which one? Like, no, the Luxor Grand Hotel.
No!
But you can see it from space!
Boo! Let's see. Okay, so next week is X-Men and Blended. So that'll be an interesting double feature. We're actually glad that Blended is first.
Oh, so yeah, you're lucking out on that one.
Yeah.
Get the shitty one out first.
I'm all for that. I'm totally all for getting the shitty one out of the way first. Alright, we'll see you next week. What's up, buddy? We're working on something here.
Do you want to get drunk and high?
Not really.
They told me it'd be a bad idea to ask, but I figured you should probably get drunk and high.
Nah, I gotta drive home, man. Then I gotta get up early in the morning.
Dude, I'm sorry.
It's all good, buddy.
I just figured, who doesn't want to get drunk and high after
Right?
seeing Godzilla? That movie was amazing.
Uh-huh.
I'm really sorry.
See you, buddy.
I just figured weed and alcohol.